wildlife crimes such as poaching, uncontrollable and illegal hunting, and animal trafficking are a significant threat to the global biodiversity. In response to this, the Wildlife Forensics Academy trains individuals in forensic science and methodological evidence reporting so that no wildlife crime will happen unabated and slip through the cracks. The Academy seeks to stem out poaching. Andro, the CEO of the Wildlife Forensics Academy, joins us for more on this. Andro, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Let's talk about the scale of wildlife crime in South Africa. Poaching, of course, being one of the biggest wildlife crimes in the country, hitting the Kruger National Park, for instance, that area quite rife. Talk to us about how much skills are necessary and the types of skills that are necessary in being able to combat such crimes, which are often organized crimes with sophisticated syndicates happening transnationally.
Yeah, thank you, Oliver. Actually, if you look at the estimations of the World Bank, the total economic value of wildlife crime is between the $1 and $2 trillion annually. And if you look at Africa, only 5% of the poachers that are brought to court get sentenced due to a lack of forensic knowledge. So, you can have wonderful laboratories to do analysis and examines of forensics, but you have to collect the traces on a crime scene. So you have to have some basics, for example, to protect the crime scene, to detect and collect traces and apprehend them to the police. And you have to docket everything what you do. And actually, with a training of 5 days, you could make a very, very big leap. Yeah.
Yeah, these sort of forensic skills that are necessary there, are they very similar to that of ordinary crime in the police, where the police, for instance, sends out their forensic team, or does this require specialized forensic skills?
No. Actually, we use the same techniques. And I will tell you something. 15 years ago, I live in the Netherlands. I was then employed at the Netherlands Forensic Institute. And 15 years ago, I was the first time I saw a wildlife crime scene. And I was really, really impressed to see that the traces you find on a wildlife crime scene are nearly exactly the same as on a human crime scene. So we have the knowledge and the techniques.
Do we have the capacity? That is to say, do we have enough people to be able to capacitate wildlife criminal investigation organizations?
Yeah, actually, you have a quite high crime rate. So human crimes, have higher priority. But, if you look at the impact of wildlife crime, you need zoonotic diseases. You have the serious organized crime. It's not an African problem. It's a world problem. And we, from the Wildlife Academy, we have established the academy near Cape Town. What we've done, we have found an innovative business model, because we invite international students for study abroad programs. They pay with foreign currency. With these incomes, we can run the academy, and we give ranger training at cost. So we make it forensic training accessible for rangers.
Yeah, talk to us about the curriculum that you follow there. Does it adhere to international best practice standards?
Yeah, just to be humble, but even, U.S. Homeland Security comes to South Africa for our training. So that says something about the necessity and the level of training that we give. You have to as well realize about that the illiteracy rate in Africa is quite high, and forensics is a quite complex domain. It exists of biological knowledge, and nature science. And then you have all the problems on your wildlife crime scene, including, the long criminal justice chain, from the crime scene to the first responders, to the forensics, to the police, to the prosecution, a very long chain. And if you have a low understanding of reading and writing, how do you going to understand that? So what we have done, we have simulated the criminal justice chain. So if you enter our academy, you see an experience laboratory. We have vehicles, we have wildlife crime scenes, we have houses, we have a laboratory, and we have a courtroom. So the whole chain is there. So if you are illiterate or you have difficulties with reading and writing, you can learn by experiencing.
Yeah. Who's a prime candidate for this sort of training? Is it a ranger? Is it somebody that just takes a keen interest to it? Or do you need some prerequisite experience and knowledge to be able to do this? Of course, not literacy knowledge, but knowledge of how, for instance, hypothetically speaking,
actually,
how a game farm works.
Yeah. You start with the first responders, the guys who are at first on the crime scene. They have to protect the scene. So we train rangers, we train park managers, we train police officers, we train prosecutors, but as well veterinarians, because they are as well on the crime scene.
Yeah, Andro Vos, thank you so much for your time and your work. Really do appreciate it. Andro Vos, the CEO of the Wildlife Forensics Academy, joins us for that. Now, I want to take you to this because global warming is a very big conversation. In fact, in South Africa, just recently, we had passed for the first time ever, an act on global warming and its mitigation.